I've always considered Gust to be a niche and small game studio. However, with Atelier Ryza 3, I can see the DNA of a AAA game. The scope, the polish, the sheer volume of content, it honestly surpasses most modern JRPGs. Atelier Ryza 3 is an open-world RPG that leads heavily into freedom and adventure. An open-world Atelier game? What's next? An open-world Mario Kart game? Oh, wait. Anyways, you play as Ryza, an energetic and adventurous alchemist who is investigating a group of islands that mysteriously appeared near her hometown. At the same time, she begins hearing a voice urging her to synthesize a strange, powerful key. This setup leads into a story that delves deeply into the history and lore of the world in a way that exceeds other Atelier arcs. You would think that with this being the third game in the same world, we would run out of new things to discover, but this is far from it. The new locations and the history behind them are fantastic. The character dialogue is charming and light-hearted. The story is nowhere near as memorable as Final Fantasy X, but the world building is surprisingly rich, and the ending is over an hour long. The side quests and skits are even better, revealing fun and unexpected sides of the cast. It helps that the cutscenes are thoughtfully yet simply animated, which includes excellent facial expressions. Gust have come a long way in making their animations look less stiff and more impactful. The game emphasizes self-discovery and open-endedness. Right from hour 1, you can already go crazy on synthesizing, or you can explore parts of the world you are not equipped for. The game doesn't stop you, almost like Zelda Breath of the Wild or Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Most sections are seamlessly connected to each other in an open world. You explore in your own rhythm, with only one story boss every 5 hours just to make sure you're updating your gear. As you wander the fields, you will encounter randomly generated quests. These spawn endlessly, giving you an unlimited supply of things to do. If you're used to playing Atelier games, these random quests are no stranger, but instead of pulling them off a bulletin board, you get them randomly on the way. This puts the focus on exploration rather than staying in your hub. I was thrown off by how open the world is compared to previous Atelier games, but once you get into the groove, it isn't so bad. Ryza has a lot of tricks to travel fast, including teleporting to previous landmarks, sliding down slopes, gliding across zip lines, and riding dolphins and summon beasts. Riding a summoned beast will scare away most enemies, making encounters easily avoidable. For this review, we played the Nintendo Switch version. Thanks to the flexible graphics setting, the game runs acceptably. Turning off effects and prioritizing performance give a slightly cartoonish look that mostly holds 30 FPS. The art direction does most of the heavy lifting, though some rock textures look rough. The game also includes a surprising robust photo mode, probably the most unnecessary yet delightful feature. You can pose characters, change lighting, adjust time of day, and even trigger emotes mid-game. It's a small detail, but it shows how much care went into the experience. Crafting remains central to progression. You'll craft your own harvesting tool. Axe, hammer, net, sickle, and better tools yields better materials. Weapon, armor, accessories, and items are all crafted too. Since Ryza is already a master alchemist, there are no level requirements. If you have the recipe and materials, you can make it. Recipes unlock through the skill map or through special recipe morph nodes. The synthesis system is node-based. Each node has a type, like cloth, liquid, or jewel, and an elemental color, like fire, water, and etc. Matching the correct type is mandatory, but matching the color gives bonus effects. Gathering materials is more immersive than ever. Instead of generic sparkles on the ground, you see actual harvestable objects. Trees, bushes, and rocks, and other stuff. Different tools yield different resources. An axe might give lumber, while a sickle might give vines or oil. This adds meaningful choice to gathering. The UI is very intuitive and informative. For example, when you hover over a recipe, it lets you know which material is required to trigger the recipe morph, or whether you have that material in stock. For the first time in my life, I played an entire Atelier game without consulting an online crafting guide. I just crafted what was available, and it worked. The crafting system is more simple than the old school Atelier games, but it still has depth. The list of synthesizable components is smaller, making the dependency less of a tangled web and more of a streamlined path. I spent around 10 hours crafting, yet the final boss still destroyed me, so back to the cauldron I went. I didn't get the feeling of mastery like in old Atelier games, but the system could be more forgiving for newcomers. The old combat system of the previous Atelier Ryza game is back, with a few tweaks. During combat, you only control one character at a time, while your two other active ally members are AI controlled. You can press up or down on the D-pad to switch tactics. This game is not a button masher. If you mash the attack button while your turn is on delay, the game punishes you by slowing your turn meter. You can press the top face button exactly when the enemy attacks to perform a perfect guard. Performing normal attacks will generate AP. You can consume AP to use skills. Using skills will generate CC points, which lets you use items. Items are your trump cards. They're your bombs, medicine, and other items that you spent hours crafting in order to swing the tide of battle. Using an item will not consume it, so you can use the item an unlimited number of times as long as you have the CC points. Because there's no mana bar or stamina bar that is carried over between battles, it's best to use up your CC points for healing and damage before a battle ends, since you're going to lose them anyways after the battle. The biggest addition is the key system, tied directly to the story. You can draw energy from enemies or landmarks to create keys with unique effects on exploration, combat, and synthesis. It's powerful, but remembering every key's effect can be tough. There are many more mechanics we haven't even touched. Atelier Ryza 3 is packed with systems, making it the perfect game if you are stuck on a cruise ship with a tiny library of titles. If you enjoy RPGs with heavy gathering and crafting, this might be a refreshing adventure, even if you're unsure about open world games. Dadozy Gaming gives Atelier Ryza 3 an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming!